Okay, welcome back. Here we are looking at an example of lesson 4 after it's all been completed, and you'll see some graphics that look familiar to you. The one I'm pointing at right now is your lesson 3 banner that you made, and over here is the logo that you made in lesson 2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to import those two into this file and use that as a starting point, and then we'll add in the rest of this, including introducing a new concept called masking, which is pretty cool, and you'll see it with these buttons that we make. So let's go ahead and open up Fireworks and get started. Open up your Fireworks and create a new document. The book's recommending 640 by 480, the white background. I'm going to blow mine up to 100%. And I'm going to start by importing in lesson 1, or lesson 2, and lesson 3. So I go to lesson 2, I get my logo. Now you'll have the GIF file as well. You'll want to always import the PNG. Remember that little bracket, if you just double click, it will bring in your graphic in the correct shape. It won't try to resize it. Right now it comes in with all the separate paths, so I'm going to highlight the whole thing and group it so I don't accidentally rip it apart later. And now I'm going to import my lesson 3. And I'll group that one as well. Next we're going to do is we're going to resize these graphics so they fit better on the page. And I'm just going to eyeball this. So I'm going to use my scale tool, go to the corner, hold down my shift key, and that looks pretty good. And I'm going to resize this to about 25%. Okay, not bad. Next step is we're going to start working with a little bit with text, and type in the text up at the top where it says the latest in, and then adventure travel, and do those separate. So I'll select my letter A, I'll draw my box out. Right now you can tell that I have centered. I'm going to go left align. I'll just type in the latest in. Don't worry about your font, we'll fix that font in a minute. And then I'll start a new text box down here. Once again, do left align. Adventure travel. Now if your text does this, just click on your black arrow, grab it, slide it out. Now the book suggests that we use a kind of a dark blue for the first latest in, and that we use a different font. Instead of Times New Roman, we're going to try a Arial Black or an Impact. And Arial Black is actually a font. A lot of people think that's Arial than color black, but it's just a really thick font. And I'll go ahead and pick that, Arial Black. To increase the size. I'm going to turn off the bold. I'll make my size, I'll try 30. And I'm going to italicize it. That looks pretty good. And the book's suggesting adventure travel be kept Times New Roman, size 32. The next thing we're going to introduce is the alignment panel, which will line these two text boxes up perfectly. You can tell, you can eyeball it pretty good. But if you want to get perfect, go ahead and go to Window, Align. Opens up your alignment panel, and dock it in place. And select the two things you're going to line up with each other. You want to make sure that two canvas is turned off. I don't want to align it to the canvas. I'm going to align them to each other. And I'm going to align them on the left edge. And now they're perfectly lined up on each other's left edge. If I want to adjust it a little bit, I can just click them and they'll stay together now. Okay, looks pretty good. Now a couple more text tools I want to introduce you to. Down here you have your text tools called kerning, which introduces a little bit of space in between each letter. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that and increase my kerning to like around 6. And you can see it put a little white space in between each one of those. Another tool is this stretch horizontal stretch or horizontal scale. I'm going to increase that a little bit and stretch that out. To me it looks a little too big in comparison to Adventure Travel, so I'm going to reduce that font down a little bit more. It looks pretty good. Okay, our next step is we're going to handle that gray circle here that I'm pointing at, along with that text that's inside of it. So I'll start by importing the text, kind of get a feel for how big it is. So File, Import, go to lesson 4, and most likely your setting is on all readable files. So when you go into lesson 4, you won't see that text file. You'll have to change this to all files, and then you can see the welcome.txt file. And Fireworks will work directly with text files. You can import them in, single click, and it comes in and it realizes it's text, so you can go in and edit it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrunch that up a little bit, make it go a little wider like that, and I'm going to highlight this and bold it out and change it to a Arial black, kind of give that a little thickness. Another text tool is called leading, and that right here will introduce white space in between your lines, increase the space between your lines essentially. I'm going to bring that up to 135. You can see how I added all those spaces there. Stretch it out a little bit, makes it a little easier to read. Now I'm going to draw that gray circle using my ellipse, color soft gray, all C's. And remember, the shift trick will keep that circle perfect, and the alt key, ALT key, will make the circle grow from the center out. So I can try to get that circle to just fit. And notice I'm making the circle a little bigger. Now, if your layer panel isn't open, you want to open that up. And since I just drew that gray circle, it went on the top layer. I'm going to grab that and put it on the bottom. And now I can see my text over it. I'll move that over here a little bit. Grab that text. Okay, looks pretty good. There we go. Okay, my next step is take care of that little blue guy there, and then we'll move on to the buttons. We'll pause here and start up a new lesson.